Ignorance is expensive!
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Ignorance is Expensive. Because the simple fact is, as long as we live in America, there's going to be ignorance. And since time is money, ignorance makes us waste time, which costs us money. So, today's topic, and this is a good one, is the Secretary of State office, aka the DMV. Now, we all have to go there at least sometime in our lives, and if we drive, we'll probably be going there at least once a year, if not more. And we all hate going there, don't we? Why? Because of the lines. But if you live in Illinois, the lines are just the tip of the iceberg. For some reason, I don't know how, the state of Illinois likes to hire people who are completely incompetent and rude. This is why I personally hate going to the DMV, because sometimes I feel like, and I hate to say this during Lent, but sometimes I feel like snapping someone's neck at times because they're just so ignorant. Like, if you're not fast enough for them, or if you don't know what you're supposed to go, you have a security guard who gets snappy with you. Or if you don't fill something out right away, you have someone who gets snappy with you. And it's like...
Or you don't have a security guard at all.
Or if you don't have a security guard at all. Like my wife says. Hi, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the thing. Like, this is like... Going to the DMV is like pulling teeth at times because of this. There's this one particular office in Will County where you have this one woman who works there. Like, all she will, like, if you're trying to fill out paperwork and you're not going fast enough for her, then she's going to get obnoxious with you. If you ask her a question, she'll get obnoxious with you.
If you fill out the form wrong, she gets even worse.
If you fill out the form wrong, she gets even worse. I mean, how would she feel if we did that to her? How would she feel if we're snappy with her, obnoxious, rolling our eyes, and the manager of the same office, she sees how rude her agent is dealing with people. She'll just stand there and roll her eyes in agreement with the agent. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we keep talking about it, and since Pat Quinn was elected for primaries for the Democratic Party, when he gets reelected, we're going to talk about it even more. This state is going further and further into debt, and when it comes to providing social services, there's only one state that's worse than Illinois, and that's Mississippi. So out of 50 states, even with a world-class city, mind you, we're number 49 out of 50 when it comes to providing social services, mental health services, etc. So why are we so bad? Because we keep hiring morons. It's basically, if anything, should show you how misguided Illinoisans and Illinois politicians, Illinois bureaucrats are. All you need to do is go to your local DMV office, because you have people there, they don't know what they're doing, or they won't even pretend that they're not working. Like, they will literally, and I'm not talking about a cashier. There was a woman where, while you have all of these people waiting in line, she was sitting at her cubicle, counting her money, just freely counting her money, ignoring all the people who are waiting. So you have so basically, I don't know. Do they hire these people and then just not monitor them? It must be, because maybe they don't have performance evaluations, because every time I go to a DMV, you always have those rude people. And mind you, surely maybe they didn't get like that overnight. Maybe they've dealt with a bunch of rude people, but you should be prepared for that. If you're working in an office run by a corrupt government, run by corrupt officials, people are going to get angry, because these people are they're going to know they're being screwed over by the system here in Illinois. You should be prepared for that. And not being bitter with everyone who comes in the door. If you're going to be bitter with everyone who comes in the door, why are you even working there? There are dozens of thousands of people who would take your job, and they know how to treat people. Because good customer service, basically the heart of good customer service is being the better person. I've had several jobs where I've had to be the better person. I've been a tutor, I've worked in the food industry, I've worked at a credit union, but the number one job where I learned how to be the better person is what I'm doing now, being a social worker. If you cannot be the better person, if you cannot deal with people's anger and frustrations in a decent manner, so that people who aren't even being rude to you are getting your crap, what are you doing working there? All you're doing is wasting time and taxpayer money. That's the thing. When you hire these people who don't want their jobs, and they're dealing with people all day long, all you're doing is wasting taxpayer money. Because Illinoisans, especially people who live in Chicago, pay some of the highest taxes in the country. And with those high taxes, we can't even get job security in the state. We can't get job security with city jobs or even state jobs. But still, if we're going to pay these ridiculously high taxes, we should have something to show for it. We should have people who, we should have employees who behave like they're working for a private industry. Because let's face it, one thing I have noticed is that FedEx employees, in my experience, are often much more polite and efficient than those who work at the local post office. Why? Because they know, since it's privately owned, and because it's driven by customer satisfaction so that people can always come back, they're going to be watching their employees. And if they mess up, if they're rude enough, then they're going to be gone. But with the state of Illinois, since it is not privatized, and I'm not suggesting privatization of state offices, let me clear that up right now. But if they were privatized, about 60% of the people who work at these offices now would be gone like that. Because if you really think of it, if you go to a restaurant or to a shop where the workers are impolite, obnoxious, intimidating, and their workers let them get away with it, would you go back to that place? Of course not. But when you have a government building, there's no other place for you to go, and these workers know that. So, well, that's my rant for today. So please come back for another episode of Ignorance is expensive. But before I go, I'm going to let you know, if you live in Illinois, if you have a problem with any state office, state-run office, whether it's the DMV or, I don't know, some welfare office or whatever, you don't have to take that. You do not have to take abuse and be expected to pay for it. You should not have your wallet open for people who are rude to you. Here's what you do. You find the number, and I'm going to post it in the description of this video. The number or the web address for the Office of the Inspector General, and you file a complaint. And they will handle it. They will investigate it and give you the justice you deserve. So remember, that's the Illinois Office of Inspector General. Well, basically every state would have an Inspector General office. So if you remember the name of that office, you go there, you file your complaint, and they'll handle it. Okay, now I'm gone.